Hi, this is Paul, and I'm going to begin podcast number 3 of Danger Ahead. Before I start that, a few comments. We celebrated Veterans Day yesterday, and it's always great to have commemorative days to honor all veterans. They made the ultimate sacrifice. Words cannot express the gratitude we have for them. But we should think about them every day. We should remember, that every day. We should also remember Memorial Day and the wars we fought. I think about that every day. I think about my dad in the Merchant Marine and the Vietnam War. Another one we should remember because plain and simple, too many lives were expended when they didn't have to be. But my dad used to carry supplies in the Merchant Marine over there, and often you're supposed to leave those ships alone, and they weren't left alone. But anyway, those days, we not only have certain days to honor them, but we should think about them all the time. Lastly, we should think about those days that we don't want to honor, but we can never forget. One is the Vietnam War. One is the total extermination or attempted total extermination of the Jews in World War II. And I can go on, but I'll end it with 9/11. We should never stop thinking every single day about 9/11. And now it seems we've come full circle. Last time I was on this podcast, we had no president yet except for Trump. Now he's the sitting president. We have President-elect Joe Biden, and we must never forget what Trump is doing and has done to take down, or try and take down and split this country apart. Lately, as he's going after the Defense Department and putting in all yes men, like every other dictator would love to do. Okay, going on from there, in order not to forget, I'm going to continue on with some quotes and some statements from Donald Trump and his assault on the truth by the president's falsehoods, misleading claims, and flat-out lies by the fact-checker staff of the Washington Post. So here we go. Here's a statement basically by the fact-checker staff. It goes like this. It's Trump on Trump is what the name of Chapter 2 is. It says, Trump is always the best, the smartest, the most successful. He excels where others only aspire. He is, in the narrative he has spent a half-century crafting, the richest, the least racist, and the most transparent. He clamors for notice, for notoriety, and for attention of any kind, even if he feigns nonchalance about how he is viewed, portraying himself as publicity shy. Another statement. Trump has often said if he could sell Trump, he could sell any Trump-branded product. The point is, this is a quote, that if you are a little different or a little outrageous, or if you do things that are bold or controversial, the press is going to write about you. Trump said in his 1987 bestseller, The Art of the Deal, and there's a caveat here, Tony Schwartz, the book's ghostwriter, has said for many years that he wrote the entire book and that Trump made only minor changes such as deleting criticism of powerful people he no longer wanted to offend. Another statement. Trump does not just nip and tuck details here and there to create an image he finds more pleasing. He edits even the most basic facts, where his parents are from, how well he did in college, and cherry picks flattering details about his past while excluding or exaggerating the context surrounding them. He glosses over big, unflattering truths, the origin of his wealth, how he used his Trump Foundation that could jeopardize his carefully crafted narrative. And sometimes, for whatever reason, he just makes things up. Okay, let me get to another. Well, actually, I'll do this one here. Here's a couple of quotes from Trump, and then the follow-up by the fact-finding team. My father came from Germany. These are Trump quotes. My father is from Germany. Both of my parents are from the European Union. This is false. This is the backfenders. Trump's father, Fred Trump, was born in the Bronx to German immigrants. His mother was born in Scotland. It's unclear why the president continues to suggest otherwise. For whatever reason, Trump has been fudging his ancestry for years. In 1976, Trump told the New York News, "I'm Swedish. Most people think my family is Jewish because we own so many buildings in Brooklyn." Some of Trump's top executives from his early years in New York City real estate have said that he called himself Swedish. He's not, to avoid any ill effects his German heritage might have on Jewish customers' willingness to rent Trump apartments in the first decades of the war after the Holocaust. Okay, another Trump quote. I took that test, and when I got my last physical, and the doctor said, that's one of the highest cognitive scores we've ever seen. Okay, well, how do I put this? A Penn administration's official told the Post that the admissions rate for the year Trump transferred was not available, but noted that in 1980, nearly 15 years later, it was slightly greater than 40%. The admission rate for Penn's class of 2023, by comparison, was 7.4%. Look at the difference. And then more recently, after being offended by how he was characterized in Bob Woodward's book Fear, Trump pointed out that he had passed a test known as the Montreal Cognitive Assignment, which tests for mild cognitive dysfunction. This 10-minute test asked participants to draw a clock, animals, and other objects. On the 30-point scale, any score 26 or above is considered normal. Trump scored a 30, as most people would, since the test is designed mainly to identify signs of dementia or other cognitive impairment. His score does not indicate any kind of genius. And let me get to the next one, if you can be patient with me here. Hold on, I'm coming. Okay, here's another both statement and quotes. In the 1991 book, Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino Restaurant, John R. O'Donnell alleged that Trump once said that, quote, laziness is a trait in blacks. He also claimed Trump said of his accountants, quote, black guys counting my money, I hate it. The only kind of people I want counting my money are little short guys that wear yarmulkes every day. Trump called O'Donnell a disgruntled employee, but he has not disputed the remarks. Then another Trump quote, the stuff O'Donnell wrote about me is probably true, he told Playboy in 1997. More recently, the president tweeted that 4 Democratic minority congresswomen, all Americans should go back to where they came from. The Washington Post's executive editor, Martin Barron, decided that his paper would characterize this statement as racist. The go back trope is deeply rooted in the history of racism in the United States, Barron said. Therefore, we have concluded that racist is the proper term to apply to the language Trump used. Here we go. A couple of quotes from Trump. It's not been easy for me. As you know, I started off in Brooklyn. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million. That's a small loan to you or what? Anyway, he, meaning Marco Rubio, also said I got $200 million from my father. I wish. I got a very, very small loan from my father many years ago. I built that into a massive empire, and I paid my father back that loan. The number is wrong by a factor of hundreds. By a fortune. I got a small loan. I started a business. Okay, here's the fact finders again. A small loan, a family business, a self-made empire in New York City. It's the stuff of a Hallmark movie, if it were accurate. They go on to explain. After examining more than 100,000 confidential documents, the New York Times concluded that Fred's small loan was actually $60.7 million or $140 million in 2018 dollars, much of which was never repaid. The Times investigation concluded that Donald Trump has always been highly dependent on his father's wealth. By age 3, he was earning $200,000 a year in today's dollars from his father's empire. He was a millionaire by age 8. In his 40s and 50s, he was receiving more than $5 million a year. In all, the Times found that Trump received the equivalent of at least $413 million in today's dollars from his father's real estate empire. Okay. Going on, this chapter's called Trump and His Enemies. I call them animals. Okay, here we go. Statement, maybe some quotes. It's hard to say. Donald Trump had no rational reason to believe that Barack Obama was born in Kenya. But Trump persisted with the birther lie for years. Ted Cruz's father played no role in the JFK assassination, but that didn't steer Trump away from a crackpot conspiracy theory in the National Enquirer. You know, that the epitome of news. When he became president, Trump referred to African nations as, quote, shithole countries. To Representative Adam Schiff, as he called him, quote, Adam Shit, and to his own Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, as a bumbling, quote, Mr. Magoo. Fact-checking the Trump presidency often means watching an erstwhile real estate mogul and reality TV star fire insult and smears like a schoolyard bully. Democrats, Republicans, men, women, the young and old, previous and current cabinet officials, all have faced Trump's slashing, sneering, and slippery calumnies. Many a true word is said in jest, but not so much when Trump is in the picture. He lobs insults filled with falsehoods. He changes history to denigrate opponents. He fabricates tall tales about his foes out of whole cloth. He gaslights. In one case, he formally accused a Democrat of killing a newborn. And let me go on to the next part here. This is a Trump quote here. The toughest calls I've had to make are the calls where this happens. Soldiers are killed. It's a very difficult thing. If you look at President Obama and other presidents, most of them didn't make calls. A lot of them didn't make calls. I like to call when it's appropriate. Trump appeared, now this is the fact finders, Trump appeared to forget the name of fallen Army Sergeant David Johnson while offering condolences to his widow over the phone. Days later, he falsely claimed that Obama never even called the families of fallen soldiers. The president maligns Obama with false claims on a nearly daily basis, but this one is especially revealing. Nothing is out of bounds when it comes to Trump's falsehoods, not even the deaths of U.S. service members. In reality, Obama often consoled the families of the fallen. After a military helicopter was shot down over Afghanistan in 2011, Obama comforted the families of all those killed, according to Jeremy Bash, a top Pentagon official at the time. The White House photographer Obama, Pete Souza, said in an Instagram post that he, quote, photographed him meeting with hundreds of wounded soldiers and family members of those killed in action. Let me go on to the next one. There's so many in here, I've had to skip a lot. Okay, and this is one to think of for all people who decided they want to vote for Trump just because of the abortion issue. This is a Trump quote. The governor of Virginia executed a baby. Remember that whole thing? Afterbirth? Some people never heard of it. That was November 1st, 2019. Here's the fact checkers. Governor Ralph Northam of Virginia, a pediatrician, did not execute a newborn. Northam, a Democrat, was asked on a radio show whether he supported a bill in the state legislature to loosen abortion requirements. He did not take a position on the bill and instead discussed late-term abortion procedures in general terms. Now, this is the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam. The first thing I would say is this is why decisions such as this should be made by providers, physicians, and the mothers and fathers that are involved. There are, when we talk about third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way, and it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and family desired, and then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. This is a clinical explanation of circumstances that might lead to a late-term abortion. Northam did not perform such an abortion, nor did he endorse them as a policy matter, nor was he advocating for the bill to ease abortion requirements in Virginia. Okay. Let's go on here. Okay. And as we know, Obamacare is going up before the Supreme Court, I believe, as we speak, but here's Trump's quotes. Obamacare is a disaster. It's virtually dead. Eventually, we are getting rid of Obamacare. Some people would say, essentially, we got rid of it. But you no longer have the individual mandate. We've decimated Obamacare. All those quotes were from 2017 and 2018. Anyway, he's been promising this for a long time, and I'm just going to go to the end. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, nearly 20 million fewer people were uninsured in 2018 compared to 2010, the year before Obamacare was enacted. Okay. Okay, this might be a little long, but let me just see. Okay. These are quotes from Trump. The head of U.S. Steel called me the other day and he said, we're opening up 6 major facilities and expanding facilities that have never been expanded. They haven't opened in many, many years. That was from June in 2018. U.S. Steel is now building 7 plants. November 2018. U.S. Steel is opening up 8 plants. October 9th, 2018. The number, this is the fact finders, the number is closer to 0. As a publicly traded U.S. company, U.S. Steel is required to disclose materially important information to investors and regulators. The open of 6, 7, or 8 new plants and the expansion of even more would be huge news. Trump said the head of U.S. Steel slipped him this market-moving information, but the company declined to confirm his implausible account. What U.S. Steel had announced when Trump made these remarks was a restart of 2 blast furnaces and production facilities in its Granite City Works integrated plant in Illinois, which the company said would add 800 jobs. The following year, U.S. Steel announced it would idle other blast furnaces due to slumping demand, laying off thousands of workers, including more than 1,500 in the Detroit area. Labor data for primary metal manufacturing, the category that includes the steel industry, shows a net gain of 6,000 jobs in Trump's first 3 years in office, an increase of less than 2%. Let me see where I want to go next here. Once again, bear with me. Okay, here we go, Trump quote. We brought a lot of car companies into Ohio. You know that. A lot of them are coming in. A lot of them have already brought in. They're coming in from Japan. They're coming in from all over the world. This is where they want to be. They want to be in the United States. That's where the action is. They're all coming back. Many other investments, this is Trump again, many other investments we've gotten from Japanese companies, car companies, and other companies, they're all coming in, and a lot of them are coming to Michigan. Real quick here, because I don't want to make this too long, but more swing state spin. No car companies have come to Ohio during Trump's presidency, and jobs in the state's motor vehicle manufacturing sector have decreased by 1,000 since February 2017. Since automobile industry investments have been announced in Michigan, but not by the Japanese companies. Okay, I could go on, but let me just see if I can find one more before I end this thing, because I know it gets a little bit boring. This is from a chapter called The Twitter Presidency. He needs to tweet like we need to eat. Very short statement by the Trump Fact Finders team. This is the story of the president and his platform of choice. We look at how Trump's tweets reveal his comfort with contradicting himself, and we offer a chronological survey of the various ways the president counterpunches with his itchy twitcher fingers, digitally shouting out conspiracy theories, railing against investigations, Democrats, former staff, and any or all he believes to be against, quote, against Trump. Okay, I'm going to end it there because I know these things get long. I want you to also remember what's going on now in history, because it's a sad day in history. We also see what he's doing with the military leaders that are leaving us with a national security problem. So if you wonder if he cares about American lives, whether it's through the pandemic or anything else like that, he doesn't, at least in my view. This is your podcast. I would like to see some comments so we're able to have some intelligent discourse and, maybe base a podcast on some of the things that you comment on. Thanks very much for listening. This is Paul signing off. Bye.